Success is never the result of one giant leap or one lucky break. It's the outcome of small, intentional choices made day after day. Every decision you make, what you read, how you spend your time, the effort you put in, quietly shapes your future. On their own, these choices might seem insignificant, but when added together over months and years, they create the life you end up living. Simple disciplines, when practiced consistently, have a compounding effect. Just as money grows with steady investment, your skills, relationships, and opportunities grow with steady discipline. Missing a day may seem harmless, but missing many days in a row builds a habit of neglect. Likewise, showing up every day builds a habit of excellence that pays off in ways you can't yet imagine. The danger is that neglect works the same way discipline does, only in reverse. Skipping the small things today won't ruin you tomorrow, but over time, those missed actions accumulate into missed opportunities. You can't plant seeds only when you feel like it and expect a harvest. Growth responds to consistent effort, not occasional bursts. Consistency always beats intensity. A little progress made daily will outperform a massive effort made once in a while. Even when the results aren't immediately visible, discipline is quietly at work, building momentum. And momentum is what makes the journey feel lighter and the goal feel closer. The real secret to success is simply decide what matters, turn it into a daily discipline, and keep going, especially when it feels ordinary or repetitive. One day, those small, disciplined steps will add up to something extraordinary, and you'll look back realizing it wasn't a secret at all, just a way of living. Simple disciplines might look small in the moment, but when practiced consistently, they have the power to transform your life. One workout won't change your body, one book won't change your mind, and one act of kindness won't change your relationships. But done every day, they create a steady, unstoppable force for growth. It's not the size of the action that matters most, it's the frequency and consistency with which you do it. Think of it like drops of water falling on stone. A single drop makes no visible change, but over time, those drops carve out a path. The same principle applies to your habits. Each repetition strengthens your skill, deepens your understanding, and builds your character. And because results compound, the small effort you make today multiplies in value tomorrow. The challenge is that the payoff is rarely immediate. In the beginning, it can feel like nothing is happening, which is why so many people quit too soon. But consistency has a delayed reward. You may not see it instantly, but over weeks, months, and years, the results will appear, often in ways bigger than you imagined. Discipline works quietly in the background, shaping your life while you go about your day. Neglect works just as quietly, undoing progress and eroding your potential. The difference between the two is simply what you choose to repeat. Every day, you're either compounding progress or compounding decline. So choose the disciplines that move you toward your vision and stick to them even when they feel small or ordinary. Over time, they'll not only produce massive results, but also turn you into the kind of person capable of sustaining them. That's the real power of simple disciplines practiced every day. Neglect never shouts, it whispers. It doesn't ruin your life overnight. It chips away at it slowly, almost invisibly. Skipping one workout won't make you unhealthy. Missing one day of reading won't make you ignorant. And avoiding one opportunity won't make you fail. But when neglect becomes a pattern, the effects stack up. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and before you know it, you've drifted far from the path you intended to follow. The danger of neglect is that it feels harmless at first. You tell yourself, I'll make up for it tomorrow, or it's just one day. But tomorrow comes with its own distractions, and the habit of postponing becomes stronger than the habit of discipline. What starts as a small compromise slowly becomes your new normal, and progress quietly slips away. Just as consistent effort compounds into success, consistent neglect compounds into decline. The same principle works in both directions, only the results are very different. One moves you toward your dreams, the other pulls you further away from them. You can't see the damage in the moment, but over time, the gap between where you are and where you could have been becomes painfully clear. Neglect doesn't just cost you progress, it costs you confidence. When you fail to keep promises to yourself, you start to doubt your own word. And once you lose trust in yourself, it's much harder to take bold action toward your goals. That's why catching neglect early is so important. The sooner you address it, the easier it is to reverse. Success isn't just about doing the right things, it's about avoiding the wrong pattern, the slow erosion caused by neglect. Choose discipline over delay, even in the smallest actions, because every time you follow through, you protect your future from the quiet, certain decline that comes from letting things slide. The habits you live by today are shaping the life you'll experience tomorrow. Every action you repeat is like planting a seed. Some seeds grow into strong trees that bear fruit, while others grow into weeds that choke out your potential. Whether you realize it or not, your daily patterns are setting the direction of your future. And over time, they will produce results you can't avoid. Good habits work quietly in your favor. Waking up early, reading daily, exercising, investing in relationships, and working on your craft all seem small in the moment, but they build a foundation of discipline, knowledge, and strength. When repeated consistently, they give you an advantage that compounds year after year, leading to opportunities others only dream of. Bad habits work just as quietly, but in the opposite direction. Procrastination, neglect, poor choices, and wasted time may not ruin you today, but they create a slow decline that is hard to notice until it's too late. Just as a strong foundation leads to stability, a weak one leads to collapse, and habits determine which one you're building. The power of habits lies in their consistency. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You only need to choose the right actions and repeat them until they become second nature. Over time, the right habits require less willpower because they become part of who you are. If you want a better future, start by designing better habits now. Ask yourself daily, will this choice move me closer to my goals or further away? Because every habit you build today is either preparing you for the life you want or trapping you in a life you never intended to live. Consistency will take you further than intensity ever will. A burst of energy feels exciting, but it fades quickly if it isn't backed by steady action. You can work incredibly hard for a few days, but if you stop, the progress slips away just as fast. Real success comes from showing up again and again, even when the excitement has worn off and the results aren't yet visible. Think of the difference between a flash of lightning and the steady glow of the sun. Lightning is powerful but brief, gone in an instant. The sun, on the other hand, rises every day without fail, and its steady warmth sustains life. That's the nature of consistency. It might not feel as dramatic, but over time, its impact is far greater. Intensity often comes from motivation, but consistency comes from discipline. Motivation is temporary, it's fueled by emotion and circumstances. Discipline is a decision you make regardless of how you feel. When you build your success on discipline, you keep moving forward on both good days and bad days, which is why the results last. Small, consistent actions also have the power of compounding. The effort you put in today builds on yesterday's work, and tomorrow builds on today's. The gains may seem small at first, but over months and years, they grow into something extraordinary, and that's something a short burst of intensity can never match. So if you have to choose between working extremely hard for a moment or working steadily for the long term, choose steady. The excitement of intensity fades quickly, but the quiet strength of consistency will carry you all the way to your goal. In the end, it's not how fast you start that matters. It's how long you can keep going. A little improvement each day may not seem like much, but over time it creates a force that's impossible to ignore. One page read, one push-up done, one new skill practiced. On its own, it looks small and ordinary, but added together day after day, these small improvements create massive progress. Success is rarely built in giant leaps. It's built in steady steps that accumulate quietly until one day the results speak for themselves. The power of daily improvement is in its compounding effect. Just as money grows when it's invested consistently, your skills, knowledge, and discipline grow when you invest in them every day. 1% better each day might look invisible at first, but in a year, that small daily growth multiplies into a transformation. Tiny changes, repeated, always outweigh sudden bursts of effort that fizzle out. This principle also builds confidence. When you see yourself improving, even in small ways, you begin to trust your ability to grow. That trust becomes fuel, and that fuel becomes momentum. Soon, the process of improving is no longer a burden. It becomes a habit, something you look forward to because you can feel yourself advancing. Of course, the opposite is also true. A little neglect each day compounds into decline. Missing small opportunities, ignoring small disciplines, and giving in to small excuses eventually add up, and the cost becomes heavy. Just as improvement builds momentum forward, neglect builds momentum backward. The choice is always yours. If you want unstoppable momentum, don't chase perfection. Chase progress. Improve a little today, then repeat it tomorrow. Over weeks and months, those tiny gains will stack up into a future that looks nothing like your present. And when others wonder how you achieved so much, you'll know the truth. It happened one small improvement at a time. Success is not a mystery, it's a pattern. When you build discipline into your daily routine, you remove guesswork from the process. You no longer depend on luck, mood, or outside circumstances to move forward. Your habits take the lead. Discipline turns your goals from wishes into scheduled actions. And when something is scheduled and repeated, results become predictable. A disciplined routine creates structure, and structure creates stability. Instead of waking up wondering what to do, you already know the actions that move you toward your goals. This saves mental energy, reduces procrastination, and keeps you consistent even on days when motivation is low. With discipline, progress isn't left to chance. It becomes part of the design of your life. Over time, a routine built on discipline becomes second nature. At first, it may feel forced or uncomfortable, but repetition transforms it into a habit you hardly think about. Just as brushing your teeth is automatic, working on your craft, exercising, reading, or managing your priorities can become effortless. And that's when success starts to feel inevitable. The beauty of discipline is that it works regardless of how you feel. You might have days of high energy and days of fatigue, days of excitement and days of doubt. But discipline ignores feelings and focuses on action. And when action is consistent, results always follow. If you want success you can count on, stop relying on willpower and start building disciplined routines. Once your daily actions align with your vision, you'll find that success isn't something you chase. It's something you naturally arrive at because your habits keep carrying you there. The difference between success and failure is rarely found in a single moment. It's hidden in the choices you make every day. The small actions you repeat almost without thinking are quietly shaping your future. Each decision is a step toward your goals or a step away from them, and over time, those steps add up to a destination you cannot avoid. Successful people don't rely on luck or occasional bursts of effort. They focus on daily disciplines that move them closer to where they want to be. Whether it's studying, practicing, exercising, or building relationships, they make those actions part of their routine, no matter how they feel. These habits may seem ordinary, but they produce extraordinary results because they're done consistently. Failure works the same way, but in reverse. It's not usually the result of one massive mistake. It's the outcome of repeated neglect. Skipping important tasks, procrastinating, or giving in to distractions doesn't ruin you overnight. It slowly erodes your potential until the gap between where you are and where you could have been becomes painfully clear. The key is to be intentional with your daily actions. Ask yourself, will what I'm doing today help me reach my goals, or will it pull me further away? That single question asked often can guide you toward better habits and better outcomes. In the end, your future will be shaped not by what you hope for, but by what you do every single day. Small, consistent actions are the bricks that build the life you want, while neglect lays the path to regret. The choice between the two is made in the smallest moments, and those moments happen daily. Small disciplines often feel so easy to do that they're just as easy to ignore. Reading for 10 minutes, saving a small amount of money, practicing a skill for a short while, these actions don't demand much from you in the moment. But their true value is revealed over time. Done daily, they stack quietly in the background, and one day you look up to find that the small efforts have built something big. The challenge is that because the effort is small, the payoff isn't immediate. This makes it tempting to dismiss these disciplines as insignificant. But that's the trap. Small actions compound. Like planting seeds, you don't see the harvest the next day, but with consistent care, the results are inevitable. These disciplines also have another benefit: they're sustainable. Big, dramatic changes can burn you out, but small, steady actions fit into your life without overwhelming you. This makes them easier to stick with for months or years, and that long-term commitment is where the real rewards lie. The opposite is also true. Small acts of neglect, skipping the reading, spending recklessly, ignoring practice, may feel harmless in the moment, but they compound into decline just as surely as disciplines compound into success. The results may take time to show, but they're just as certain. So never underestimate the power of what seems small today. A few simple disciplines practiced daily are like tiny hinges that swing big doors. They might not feel life-changing at first, but given time, they will pay you rewards far greater than the effort they cost. The secret to real success is learning to keep going even when the results aren't visible yet. In the early stages of any worthwhile goal, the progress is often hidden. You put in the work, stay disciplined, and make sacrifices, yet on the surface, nothing seems to change. This is where most people quit, not because the goal is impossible, but because they can't yet see the payoff. What they don't realize is that results are often building in the background, quietly stacking until they reach a tipping point. Just like seeds growing beneath the soil, your efforts are taking root long before they break through the surface. The harvest always comes later than the planting, but it only comes to those who keep tending the field. Patience and consistency are your greatest allies in this phase. You don't need proof today to believe in tomorrow. You need faith in the process. Every rep, every page, every call, every practice session is a deposit in your future account, and sooner or later, the compound interest will show. The danger is in letting impatience dictate your actions. If you stop before the results appear, all your past work loses its chance to pay off. Success often goes to the person who simply refused to stop when others did. So keep moving forward even if progress is invisible. Trust the process, because the work you're doing today is quietly preparing a breakthrough you can't yet see. One day, the results will appear all at once, and you'll know they were years in the making.